Getting pulled over is stressful. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and suddenly your mouth starts moving before your brain can catch up. But here's the thing. What you say during a traffic stop can make the difference between a warning and a ticket, or worse, between a routine interaction and a serious legal problem. Today, we're going through 15 things you should absolutely never say when those red and blue lights flash in your rearview mirror. Before we dive in, let's establish something important. This isn't about being disrespectful to law enforcement. It's about protecting your rights and avoiding common mistakes that people make when they're nervous. Most traffic stops are straightforward, but knowing what not to say can save you from unnecessary complications. Number one, I wasn't speeding. The moment you say this, you've just admitted you know what the officer pulled you over for. You've also put yourself in a position where you're arguing before the officer has even told you why they stopped you. Maybe they pulled you over for a broken taillight, not speeding. Now you've just confessed to something they weren't even investigating. Instead, when the officer asks if you know why they pulled you over, a simple "no, officer" or "I'm not sure" is always the better choice. Let them tell you what they observed. Number two, I only had 2 drinks. This is one of the most damaging things you can say. You've just admitted to drinking and driving. It doesn't matter if you feel fine or think you're under the limit. You've given the officer probable cause to investigate further. If there's any question about impairment, politely decline to answer questions about drinking without a lawyer present. You have that right, and exercising it doesn't make you look guilty. It makes you look informed. Number 3, do you know who I am? Unless you're genuinely asking because the officer seems to recognize you, this phrase is the fastest way to turn a routine stop into a nightmare. It sounds entitled, it sounds like you're trying to intimidate the officer, and it virtually guarantees you'll get cited. Even if you are someone important or connected, pulling rank during a traffic stop is a terrible idea. Everyone gets treated the same under the law, and implying otherwise won't win you any favors. Number 4, my taxes pay your salary. Yes, technically true, but so what? This statement is confrontational and accomplishes nothing except making the officer annoyed with you. Police officers are doing their job, and they hear this line constantly. It doesn't exempt you from traffic laws, and it definitely won't get you out of a ticket. Save your breath and maintain a respectful tone instead. Number 5, I was keeping up with traffic. This is an admission of guilt dressed up as an excuse. You're confirming that you were indeed speeding, just like everyone else. The officer can legally cite you even if other cars were going the same speed. Traffic violations are individual offenses. The fact that 20 other people were breaking the law doesn't give you permission to do the same. Don't volunteer this information. Number 6, I didn't see the sign. Whether it's a stop sign, speed limit sign, or any other traffic control device, saying you didn't see it is an admission that you violated the law. It's the driver's responsibility to observe and obey all posted signs. This statement doesn't help your case. It actually confirms that you committed the violation the officer is investigating. Ignorance of a posted sign isn't a defense. It's a confession. Number 7, I'm in a hurry. This might explain your behavior, but it doesn't excuse it. In fact, it gives the officer a clear motive for why you were breaking the law. You're essentially saying, yes, I know I was speeding or driving recklessly, but I had a reason. That's not a defense. That's an explanation of your guilt. Unless someone in your car is actively experiencing a medical emergency requiring immediate hospital care, being late for work or an appointment isn't going to get you sympathy. Number 8, I'll just pay the ticket. This might sound cooperative, but it's actually an admission of guilt. You're accepting responsibility for a violation before the officer has even finished their investigation or decided whether to cite you. You're also eliminating any possibility of getting a warning instead. Let the officer complete their process. Don't make decisions or statements about what you'll do until you actually have a ticket in hand. Number 9, go catch some real criminals. This is incredibly disrespectful and counterproductive. Traffic enforcement is part of police work, and traffic violations cause thousands of deaths every year. Officers don't appreciate being told how to prioritize their duties, and this kind of comment shows contempt for their role. Even if you're frustrated about being stopped, Insulting the officer's work will only make your situation worse. Keep those thoughts to yourself. Number 10, this is harassment. Unless the officer is genuinely harassing you with repeated unjustified stops, claiming harassment during a single traffic stop is inappropriate and inflammatory. If you believe you're being profiled or targeted unfairly, the traffic stop isn't the time or place to make that argument. Document the details, comply with lawful orders, and if you have legitimate concerns about how the stop was conducted, address them through the proper channels afterward. Number 11, I know my rights. While knowing your rights is important, announcing this aggressively often signals to officers that you're going to be difficult. It puts everyone on edge. A better approach is to exercise your rights calmly and respectfully without announcing them like a challenge. For example, instead of declaring, I know my rights, and I don't have to answer that, you can say, I'd prefer not to answer questions without an attorney present. The second approach achieves the same goal without the confrontational tone. Number 12, that's not fair. Life isn't always fair, but that's not a legal argument. Whether something feels fair to you is irrelevant to whether you violated a traffic law. Officers enforce the law as written. They don't have discretion to ignore violations just because you think the rule is unfair. Complaining about fairness makes you sound immature and won't change the outcome. If you believe a law is unjust, the place to challenge it is in court or through your elected representatives, not on the side of the road. Number 13, I'm friends with the chief. Name dropping is almost never effective and usually backfires. If you're genuinely close with someone in law enforcement, they would likely be embarrassed by you trying to use that connection to get out of a ticket. It puts the officer in an awkward position and makes you look like you're trying to corrupt the process. Even if the officer decides to verify your claim, how do you think that conversation will go? Your friend or connection will likely be mortified that you tried to leverage your relationship inappropriately. Number 14, I didn't do anything wrong. When you say this, especially before you even know why you were pulled over, you're being defensive and potentially dishonest. Maybe you genuinely didn't notice you were violating a law, but that doesn't mean you didn't do it. This blanket denial shuts down communication and makes you seem unreasonable. A better approach is to stay calm, listen to what the officer says, and respond thoughtfully to specific concerns rather than offering a blanket denial. Number 15, are you going to search my car? Unless the officer has indicated they want to search your vehicle, asking this question plants the idea in their mind. It also makes you seem nervous and potentially gives them reasonable suspicion that you're hiding something. If an officer asks to search your car, you have the right to politely decline unless they have probable cause or a warrant. But don't bring up searches unprompted. Let the officer conduct the stop according to their procedures without suggesting additional investigative steps. So, what should you say during a traffic stop? Keep it simple. Have your license, registration, and insurance ready. When the officer approaches, greet them politely. Answer basic questions like your name and where you're coming from or going. But remember, you don't have to answer potentially incriminating questions. If asked if you know why you were pulled over, it's fine to say you're not sure. If asked if you've been drinking, you can politely decline to answer. Be respectful, follow lawful instructions, and save any arguments for the courtroom if you decide to contest a citation. The goal during any traffic stop is to complete the interaction safely and professionally. You can assert your rights without being confrontational. You can be cooperative without incriminating yourself. Most importantly, remember that the officer is a person doing a job, often a dangerous and stressful one. Treating them with basic human respect isn't about submission or admitting fault. It's about recognizing that how you behave during a traffic stop can significantly impact the outcome. Traffic stops don't have to be adversarial encounters. By avoiding these 20 common statements and maintaining a calm, respectful demeanor, you'll navigate these situations much more effectively. Know your rights, exercise them appropriately, and remember that the side of the road isn't a courtroom. If you believe you were cited unfairly, you'll have your day in court to make that case. Until then, keep your composure, watch your words, and get back on the road safely.